Hey, greetings and salutations to you people of the interwebs. So today this is not a review, this is clearly going to be a rant about the new Masters of the Universe series on Netflix. And there's going to be spoilers, it's just going to be all spoilers. So if you've not seen it, um, turn off now. This is why it's not a review. Otherwise, I would say if I recommend you watch it or not. And quite frankly, you're free to watch it. You're free to make up your own opinions. Um, yeah, but I'm going to be doing spoilers for this and possibly for Netflix's She-Ra show as well because I think it's relevant. Um, wow, yeah. So full disclosure, I binge watched this a couple of days ago on the Friday, and after having a couple of nights of pretty much no sleep whatsoever, so I was very sleep deprived, and so therefore completely um, in the mindset of not forgiving any bullshit. So that it may have jaded my opinion slightly. So we're going to have full disclosure on this, and no, this He-Man show is not woke. I'll go into that. So shut the fuck up with all that business. Yeah. The premise is that this is a follow up to the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon series from the 80s. This is a kind of a sequel. Bullshit. Absolutely rubbish. Lazy. The tone doesn't match, the animation doesn't match, the voice acting doesn't match. This is not a sequel to that series. That is just lazy. It is the writers have kind of come up with an idea of what could be a decent third or fourth series of a He-Man or a Masters of the Universe cartoon series. But they couldn't be bothered to write the 2 or 3 seasons before this. Maybe that was because they're lazy or because they were not up for the challenge of writing a series that based on an 80s power fantasy, um, children's toy commercial cartoon, and taking the big buff blonde male lead and trying to make him a more 2020s progressive and just a progressive role model. They weren't up for that challenge. They just like, no, we're just going to skip to this idea that we have that would make a decent third or fourth season of a show. So it's not earned. Nothing that they do in the show feels like they have earned it because they've been riding on someone else's coattails. And that's one of my big gripes. The opening of this show and the score and the imagery they use is absolutely fantastic. It really is. With some of the old kind of style, based on some of the old stylized toy packaging art. It is awesome. The score throughout is fantastic. The animation is looking pretty slick. The character design as well. I really like the character design. So on all that grounds, it is great. There is some gems to be picked up in this, but mostly the concept of this show stinks. While it just makes the show kind of mediocre. I don't know who this show is aimed at. Um, it seems to both at the same time try and please the fans of Masters of the Universe. Master of the Universe was something that was in my life before Transformers appeared and kind of got dropped after that. So, it was something that in the early 80s as a child I really liked. And then I kind of got into Transformers. And, I do like some of the characters and so forth, but I'm not a do or die hard fan, Master of the Universe fan. Transformers is my kind of is my favorite thing when we're looking at 80s cartoons and stuff. Um, so yeah, I've just digressed and I've kind of completely lost track of what I was doing, which the show does many times. Uh, yeah, so they've set this up as a decent idea for a third or fourth season of a Master of the Universe cartoon without doing the work. And so they kill off He-Man and Skeletor and leave it so now we can spend time with the rest of the Master of the Universe. Except they don't. They go, what we're going to do now is we're going to focus the entire show, we're going to put the weight of the entire show on Teela's shoulders. I didn't quite enjoy Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice work. This is it's an show where it's all they've got a lot of actors involved, named actors, rather than getting a load of good voice actors. So it kind of suffers for that because you're like, oh, that's such a body, and that's such a body, and that's such a body, but it's not. It's never that's that character. It's doesn't the Skeletor sound like Joker now? Yeah, it's distracting. Score is marvelous. The score is marvelous. So yeah, so they put the show squarely on her shoulders, and this is why people think it's woke, and it's giving people who think it's woke fuel for the fire by the show being mediocre rather than great, and that's the problem. There's hundreds now of the YouTube videos of people claiming victory in this woke war because they've written a mediocre cartoon series that's getting really bad fan reviews. And so all these people who are in this banging on this Hollywood woke agenda thing think if they've scored a victory on this, and it's awful. It's not woke. This is... So we've got all these writers and producers, middle-aged men, who are like, yeah, we wanted to, take He-Man out of the picture, and it thought it was a good idea to get Teela, and this is one of the female characters who we don't feel has had enough screen time, and we want to give her more agency. And they give her more agency by there's something floating somewhere. They give her more agency by making her angry because she's been lied to. That's her big character personality point. That is her one point of basically a personality. For the rest of the show, is that she is angry because she was lied to. It's like that's middle-aged men's idea of what a progressive feminine figure is. Whew. She's angry because she was lied to. And she doesn't let it go. Yeah, fucking progressive that, mate. Really. Really. That is more misogynistic than having a big blonde strong man solving all the problems, quite frankly. She's angry because people lied to her. How's your home life, guys? Do we, can we jump to any conclusions of what arguments you get into with your spouses? Jesus. So yeah, and that goes on. And every episode, she'll end up interacting with a male character in some regard who will validate her and maybe make her slightly less angry. Be that Cringer, Man at Arms, and even in a strange way, the villainous Scareglow. And He-Man or Prince Adam in Heaven Itself. So yeah, it's... She was a good character. You could have spent the time to have her searching out the mysteries of her own origins and finding her own power within, rather than this, I was lied to all the time and now I'm angry about it. Do you know who was lied to all the time? She-Ra, in the Netflix She-Ra show. Her entire life was a lie. She was raised up to believe the Horde were the good people. And then she finds out that they're not. And sure, she's angry about that. But mostly she's angry at herself. And once angry and upset that she can't get her best friend out of this because she, in regards, actually has always known this and is okay with it. And her herself feels betrayed that Adora has left the Horde. But she's deeply wounded by this lie that she's always been told. But she finds new friends. And she grows, and sure, Adora is a flawed character. She likes to punch her way out of problems. She's not the brightest tool in the shed, but she learns to accept the emotional support of her newfound friends, and it's a glorious thing. It is a well-written show that has earned that in the, I can't remember, probably the third or fourth season, that the power sword breaks and she loses the power to be She-Ra and goes on an adventure to reclaim that power. That show earns this. Master of the Universe don't, with its one-note She-Ra character. Oh, we wanted to get rid of He-Man so we focus more on the other Masters of the Universe. Where are the rest of the Masters of the Universe? Oh, we have some of them tag along so we can kill them off. But, where the fuck is Fisto? Where's Ram Man? Where's Mechanic? Where's Stratos? Where's Zodiac? Where's Buzz-Off? He's buzzed bloody off. You know, we don't get to deep dive in these characters, do we? Because this show doesn't. The writers of this show don't know how to write a progressive male lead who, for 2020, to be a role model for people in 2020. If we'd had several seasons of this, it would already established that Adam has not told Tila his secret, and so the audience knows why. You know, so we've got some dramatic irony there that we know that Adam selfishly, he knew it was selfish that he needed one true friend who knew him just as Adam, so didn't treat him like He-Man. I think that. So we've got that. The show, people are saying it's woke, and it's not. It's just. It's focusing on the female characters. Yeah, that does not make it woke because the female characters are mostly spending most of the time bemoaning the relationships with the male characters. Like, I don't think there's not many conversations where there's two female characters are not talking about a male character. The Bechdel test, there's not many times it actually passes that, even though, you know, they've got all these, you know, we form this, like, threesome of female characters on this adventure with Roboto and Orko tagging along. There's a new character who, Kevin Smith, who's no doubt sponsored by MeUndies or whatever, it said he's certainly that's that. No, she's not actually her girlfriend. And it's like, it's not actually Tila's girlfriend. I'm like, really? Come on. You you know, you wrote Chasing Amy. You should probably see the signs here, Kevin. Yeah, so I can't remember her name. She's quite a good character. She's but she doesn't have like a pun name and a quirky that's based on the quirky gimmick that she has. So she doesn't really fall within the Masters universe. So I can't remember it because she doesn't have yet. Maybe in the second part she gets something and renames herself. So she'll actually be memorable. But she's just seen as just like a very competent character that, you know, gets shit done, and you know, we're okay with that. But it's kind of no pun name, no silly gimmick. What are you doing? Yeah. So there's lots of stuff this does right, but it just, the concept of it stinks. The feminism through the eyes of a bunch of middle-aged men is just is laughable, and yeah, it's not woke. It's just mediocre. I will be watching part 2, and I hope it can turn things around. But yeah, we see Kevin Smith, obviously, before the show was out, was telling everyone, there was someone had found some rumours that this show was going to focus on Tila. And rather than going, listen guys, we can't tell you much about, no spoilers, just let the show do what the show does. He was doubled down on like, no, this show is all about He-Man. This show is all about He-Man. So metal, it's He-Man. And then, obviously now he's taking, you know, once he's baited all these people, He-Man fans who understand that they'd be upset that, you know, it doesn't just kill He-Man in the final episode, he then also kills Prince Adam. So it's mid-transformation as well. It's kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm so edgy. Look at this, I've seen Game of Thrones. Oh, wow. So edgy, so wild. Oh, but he's taking glee in it. He's taking glee that he's done this and he's killed Orko, and he seems very happy with himself for doing that. I'm going to make you love Orko, and then I'm going to kill him. He's happy, but he's also bemoaning, oh, look at me, I'm getting review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes. So he's been playing into this. He's been playing the game. He's been lying to people, basically. Which is a shame, because sometimes when you're doing a big twist and someone spoils it early, so you can either ignore that and just not comment on it, but he decided again to double down on it and kind of like try and squash the rumours that were true. And I don't think it's worked out well for him. Yeah, so that's it really. I think it's this show deliberately kind of targets itself from all those idiots who believe in like this, that there's this feminist woke agenda. You know, kind of like makes itself a target on it. But the show isn't bulletproof. It's mediocre. So therefore, a lot of the criticisms are valid, and they're rubbing their hands with glee that, you know, that they get airspace to their opinions. So I don't know who this show is aimed at. I really don't. It is what it is, really. Maybe you had more sleep before you watched it, and you had a more positive experience, but I just wasn't up for the bullshit of it. Let us know in the comments below. Lena Headey is amazing as Evelyn, I think. And like I say, the score's brilliant, and it looks great. But Teela's one note. Every episode... I'm just got to go on and go again now. Every episode, once she's been validated by a male character that makes her slightly less angry, it goes on to the next episode that's written by a different person. So they've not got those notes. They've just got the notes from like the series as a whole that Teela angry, people being lied to. And she again starts off again at that same baseline of just being angry all the time. That's not feminism. It's not character development. It's not progressive. It's not giving someone more agency. Just kind of lazy and mediocre. With a nice score and animation. That's all for me. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And there was barely any fisto, so you ain't getting it today.